So here's an interesting fact for you. Did you know that a study conducted by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the ABS, found that in a 4-month period in 2020 that 59% experienced some sort of stressor in their lives over a 12-month period. 15, that's over half the population. We've got to explore this. So in a quest to find out what the hell is going on and why I keep experiencing mouth ulcers, I thought I better just take a look and find out, hey, am I stressed? Am I stressed? I don't feel like I am, but maybe these mouth ulcers are actually telling me something, and maybe I am. So this is what we are going to explore in this week's video. If this sounds like what you're interested in, and you are also suffering with mouth ulcers as well, and you want to find out, actually, is my stress level too high? Am I experiencing some level of chronic stress? Then give this video a like and a big thumbs up, and let's get into it. Be sure to stick around to the end because I'm actually going to do a test or a stress test, a stress quiz, or whatever it is to find out whether I'm actually stressed at this moment in time. So before we jump into it, let's actually uncover and maybe and even unpack what actually stress is. Now, I do want to preface, I am not a doctor. Look at me. I'm not a doctor by any stretch. I'm just someone who's looking to find out what the hell is going on and why I keep experiencing mouth ulcers, debilitating mouth ulcers, and make me feel so terrible. I will link up to this video and you'll find it above so that you can actually go back and watch my journey and what I've been going through over the past 15 years. So what is stress? Stress is a response that your body has to external things that are happening in your environment, whether that is in your personal life, whether that's at work, whether that's a number of things, looking after kids, whatever it is. Our body then has a response to that, and that's called a stress response. Now, scientifically, I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's how I am articulating it, and that's how I'm able to process it. So how does this look for yourself? What does stress look like for you? The thing is, stress looks different for everybody. Absolutely everyone. It can show up in you get a whole heap of sweats. Maybe you feel nervous, you feel jittery. Maybe you just can't think straight. Maybe you feel incredibly, chronically fatigued. It can affect everyone in different ways. But I will share with you actually how this showed up for me probably about a year ago, and I will never forget it. So I happened to be working in a really, really stressful job and I actually enjoyed it. I was working as a coach and I love coaching. I've done it for many years and it was a role that I thought, you know what, I can really excel at this. I'm gonna nail it. But the organization that I worked in was a functional hot mess, if that's the way to put it. You know, they made lots of sales, they did really, really well. And my job was to coach all of the students literally across the globe to be able to provide them with all the coaching that they need. But it was a great job, but it was really, really stressful. I felt like I couldn't work hard enough. When I was coaching and in front of my amazing students, I loved it. But when I stepped away from that and I was actually had to do the general day-to-day business as usual activities, I honestly felt like my fingers couldn't type fast enough. The thing that you have to also consider as well with this role, it was 100% virtual, and we're also coming out of that period out of COVID as well, so it was a really weird time. But it was 100% virtual. I worked from home. I was kind of my own boss, but had to be able to do everything within the hours that were given. I was working ridiculously long hours, anywhere between 8 and 10-hour days, working from home. It was intense. Only literally got up to just quickly go and get something to eat or go to the bathroom. That was pretty much it. The thing that I experienced, and this is how stress showed up for me, is my fingers went and my hands went completely numb. I couldn't feel anything. As much as I was typing at the speed of light, trying to do all of this work at amazing rates, I honestly, my fingers and my hands were cold all the time. Like they just couldn't get warm. It just didn't Didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter if I sat on my hands or I had a nice blanket on my lap and I wrapped my hands around them. I couldn't get my hands warm. So after a number of weeks, I went to the doctor. Doctor, what's going on? He turned to me, he's like, this looks like and sounds like you're experiencing some high levels of stress. I was like, really? High levels of stress? Is that right? Yes, you're definitely experiencing some chronic stress levels at the moment. So I would advise you that you make sure that you try and find a way to bring those stress levels down. My instant response was, I've got to work. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. Anyway, I didn't stay at that role and that job for very long. It was having a real impact, that my stress levels were having an impact on my health, on my hands, and I just couldn't function. I'd find myself just staring in a complete daze. Just staring at the wall, just not doing anything productive. I couldn't focus. My kids would come up to me and ask me questions, and I just couldn't process what they were saying. I was in a state of stress. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, you're probably in the same boat. And if you are feeling that way, please do go ahead and see your doctor. But it was only once I left, then everything returned to normal. I was fine. It took me, I must say, about 4 months to fully decompress from being at that job, to fully let go of all of the trauma of working there, but also just being able to get back to myself again. I must say, whilst I was working at that job, I came down with the worst case of mouth ulcers. And I always say each one is the worst case, but this one was the worst. Whole throat literally swelled up with mouth ulcers. I couldn't speak. I couldn't talk. And I love to talk. You know that. That's why you're watching this channel. So at this very point in time, do I have any mouth ulcers? I probably have 1 or 2, but nothing that's affecting my speech, nothing that is too niggling or causing me a large amount of discomfort. Maybe if you don't experience mouth ulcers in the same severity as I do, maybe what I have would be like, oh my goodness, really, really painful for you. But for me, I'm like, I can still get on with my day. I just have to watch what I'm eating. So, as I said at the beginning of this video, in a quest to actually find out if I am experiencing maybe not the same degree of a level of stress at the moment, seeing as I have a few mouth ulcers, I thought, well, it might be a good idea for me to go ahead and do a stress test. A stress test. God, that's really hard to say. Literally, I just found one on the internet, and this is no like scientific study or great levels of research and data and all of that stuff. It literally is just one that I found. I was like, let me just see. It's not gonna hurt, nothing's gonna happen. So I decided to do the quiz. It's from the Be Mindful website, and it asked me 10 questions, and I'll show you these questions. So how difficult has it been for me to process information? How confident do you feel about making decisions? All of that stuff, which is all valid questions. And then I have to put my answer in there, you know, do I experience them sometimes or most often or all the time or frequently or never at all, whatever that is. And here's the interesting result from that. It actually put me at out of 40 at 21. So that puts me at a moderate scale. So I'm not like highly stressed or anything like that. I'm actually pretty much slap bang in the middle, which is actually a really good place to be. So it gets me thinking, really? Is stress causing the mouth ulcers? Because the thing that's always been something that I've said, oh my goodness, for ages is that I don't feel stressed. You know, I don't feel stressed. Yes, you know, I have a whole heap of things going on. I've got kids to look after, work, all of that stuff. But maybe that affects me for a short period of time or just in the moment. But I don't feel stressed. Am I stressed? The test obviously told me that I'm moderate. So no, I'm not stressed. I don't know. So why the hell am I getting these mouth ulcers? I don't know. This is going to be one of those things that we're just going to have to keep unpacking, you and me together, to figure out, hey, what's working, what isn't, what triggers, what's triggering them, what's not. I would love for you to leave a comment for me leave a comment below and let me know, what are your triggers? Some responses that I've heard from some members of the community, and thank you so much for responding, have shared what your triggers are in this video that I did. They've shared that sometimes it's fruit, sometimes it's even when they come down with a cold or anything like that. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like it's so great to hear from you when you leave me a comment below, and I get back to everyone. I respond to every single comment. So I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below, what's your triggers? Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Is it food triggers? Is it, just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, gorgeous one, keep fighting for simplicity and have an amazing day. You might want to go ahead and watch this video.